Okay. And you can answer this more than once. Tell me about a moment when a person's kindness made a difference in your life.
Well, definitely when we came home from Tonga, um, because we'd left the house and we had been renting it, and they had to get out really fast. But what was interesting was that we came home and my mother had filled the fridge with milk and all the basics of bread, and they had made all the beds with clean sheets, and they'd brought all our furniture, and it was like I had never left. And that was really going the extra mile. Um,
So when you guys
I,
when you left to Tonga, you packed up the house?
yes, we moved everything down into the fruit room, and then we gave everything else kind of away.
And then when you came back, everything was
Like we'd never left.
okay. Another example of when someone was kind to you and it changed your life.
Well, I don't know if these kinds of things change your life, but like somebody will buy me lunch at work, or um, I remember when Marge Larson was the manager of Temp Bookstore, and she came one day and she told all of us that as long as we were careful with the books, we could read as many books as we wanted on our lunch hour. And I know that sounds weird, but it was really nice because I read a lot of books. We've had people come over and weed our yard, our garden. And we've had a lot of acts of service given to us. I don't know if it changed our life. Probably the Tonga thing kind of changed my life. Um, and so many people have been so generous. Well, just even today in the temple, it's the first time I had gone, and I actually took my cane, and it was very awkward. And there were such sweet sisters there to help every bit of the way. It was nice. Kindness that changed my life. I don't know.
Um, so flipping that around, is there a time when you um, performed an act of kindness that changed somebody else's life?
Well, I don't want to go public with this, but we've been generous when we could over the last 10 or 20 years of helping people financially. Um, and some of it did change their lives. I'm just trying to think.
No, I don't think you need to give specifics. Um,
But anyway, we've done that quite a bit. The other thing too is when we lived in the old ward, well, even in this ward. Oh, I know one thing.
so really quick, for those of you that don't understand what a ward is, it's a local congregation in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, consisting of anywhere to 100 families, 300 to 500 people.
I remember for my birthday one year that Sandra Critchfield got Bonnie and a bunch of others together, and they made this beautiful, beautiful quilt, tied it for me so we'd have one that was big enough for our queen size bed. And that was one of the kindest things. She was that way anyway. But I remember when we did well, here's an example. What were the jars called that we had money in? Oh, and there's a book written about it, about the jars. They filled it up and then they gave it to a family. I can't remember the name of the book. It'll come to me maybe. Christmas jars. And I'll never forget the year that Tori was probably, I don't know, 8, 10. And we took all these jars and Dad bought about 100 books of the Christmas jar. And we filled the jars with money. And she went with us. And we just took them all over the city of Orem, hoping that people would continue this tradition of giving during Christmas. We don't know whatever happened to it. We just took them, we'd ring doorbells and leave the jar and the book on the door. And I know for a fact that it really did a lot to change the lives of some of those people who had nothing.
So So the jars were not filled up with money, but you gave empty
Oh,
jars.
they were. They were.
Oh,
We
you
put
filled them
money
up.
in them. And then I'm just trying to think. I remember the night, and I brought this up a lot, but for Aaron, it
Okay.
was kind of a defining moment of service when we.
Hold on just a second. For clarifying for that last story, Victoria, Tori, is my brother's oldest daughter, who passed away in 2014.
It's been 8 years, 13,
2000,
14.
2014, with a rare genetic terminal disease. That will probably come up later as we ask that question, but it's important to note because I think Tori has. So I have a sister that passed away, my older sister that passed away, and my brother's oldest niece passed away. Okay, Mom.
Anyway, I think the one thing that stands out every time we talk about this in Aaron's mind was the year we took diapers over to Rowetta Bishop. Her husband had died and had left her with no income and 8 children and a new baby and so forth. And we decided what we wanted to do. And I think we didn't have Costco at that time. I can't remember. We went and got a whole case of these diapers and took them over and put them on the doorstep and rang the bell and ran. We did that a lot with the older kids. And I remember just how grateful she was. She expressed it in her testimony. I don't know who did it, but I was down to my last diaper. And anyway, it was those kinds of things that we did that brought me great satisfaction of service and the
That would have
kids.
been what, 80s, 90s, 70s?
Well, we lived there from 72 to 92, so it had been some time within that period.
I don't remember it, so it would have been before a time that I remember, which my earliest memories are 84, 85. So, okay. All right. Any other stories about kindness that you would like to share?
Well, there's so many little ones, just cookies at the doorstep or at work. A lot of the volunteers are really helpful in lifting things and getting things done that I can't do anymore with my back. And they're just little teenagers, 12 to 14, and you can tell which ones have been taught to serve and to help and to do that. And that's encouraging to me. Wildness that changed my life. I don't know.
Do you think that kindness and service is taught, or do you think it's just something that's there?
It's something you do, and we've always tried to get our kids involved in projects. Even now I look at Laura, she's knitting or crocheting all the time, these blankets that she takes and gives away to people while she's watching TV or those kinds of things. You have to be taught, I feel. Or at least do it while your children are watching and make time. Say, okay, this Saturday or this month for our service project, we're going to do this, and make it a specific thing every month. I don't think we did it that way, but nowadays everybody's so busy. I think you have to make time for that.
I'm going to stop the recording.